Namandam, 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 namandam. Namandam.
Good morning. Welcome to our annual Gotan-E service, sponsored by the Konohonganji Shinwa Kai. Today's service celebrates the birth of Shinran Shonin on May 21st, 1173. I was kind of surprised. This is the actual day, so that's pretty good. 850 years ago. And some of our members, including Reverend Blaine, just returned from a trip to Japan celebrating the 850th birthday. Shinran was the founder of Shin Buddhism. As Reverend Blaine explains, his life and teachings represent one of the most significant developments in the history of Buddhism. Prior to Shinran, only the privileged and educated receive spiritual instruction. Shinran taught us that everyone was equally embraced by the Buddha's infinite light and compassion, that the truth of the Dharma and the Shinjin awakening are accessible to everyone without discrimination. It is Shinran's birthday, but the gift is truly for all of us. By chance, is anyone's birthday today? No? Okay. Um, I was going to say if it was, you're first in line for refreshment, so darn. I'm Darren Katayama, and I will serve as your MC today. As a reminder to those of you on Zoom, please be sure to mute your mics during the entire service. Assisting Reverend Blaine at the temple with technical support are Alan Matsumoto, Lynn Katayama, Joey Guzman. Corinne Chong is our organist. Let us begin the service with the offering of flowers by Dr. John Sue and Joey Guzman. Offering of Lights by Morris Nagata and Dean Uemura. If you are able to, please rise for the Vandana Inti Sarana led by Reverend Blaine. Please chant both the Pali and English parts together with him. They're on the laminated handouts.
Butsunamanda, 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 Butsunamanda.
An aspiration will now be shared by Reverend Lay.
Please join me in Gasho. We gather this morning as friends in the Dharma, as fellow travelers along the journey of life. On this observance of Gotan-E, we celebrate the birth of Shinran Shonin, who shared with us the path of universal liberation through the Nembutsu. We reflect on Shinran's words from the preface of the Kyogo Shinsho. Hard to encounter, even many lifetimes, is the decisive cause of birth, Amida's universal vow. Hard to realize, even in myriad kalpas, is pure Shinjin that is true and real. If you should come to realize this practice in Shinjin, rejoice at the conditions from the distant past that have brought it about. We are grateful for the all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion of Amida Buddha, which sustains our lives, and we express our deepest appreciation and indebtedness to Shinran and the Pure Land Masters for sharing with us this profound teaching. Let us endeavor to listen to the Buddha Dharma with not just our ears, but with our entire being, and strive to embody the teachings through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. May we always take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows us the way in this life, the Dharma, the way of understanding and love, and the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Entrusting in the dynamic working of infinite light and life, we call Amida's honored name in gratitude, joy, and awareness. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Please be seated. We will now have offering of incense. We invite all Sangha members in attendance to please come up and offer incense if you wish, starting with the front rows and moving towards the back. Please use both incense burners in the front. Let us now observe a moment of silent meditation. Reverend Blaine will now lead us in the chanting of the sutra, Hymn in Praise of the Buddha. Words can be found on page 112 in the Red Jodo Shinshu service book and on the screens above. Again, page 112 in the service book.
The Buddha of infinite light and life made vows to embrace all beings equally without exception. These vows promise to create a perfect world where no suffering exists and guides us to supreme awakening. The Sambutsuge, or Hymn in Praise of Buddha, is a poem from the larger Pure Land Sutra in which Amida Buddha, as Bodhisattva Dharmakara, praises his teacher and makes his 48 vows to establish the Pure Land of Enlightenment for the welfare and the happiness of all beings. We chant the words of the Buddha as a reminder of these great vows made to awaken all beings. The Hymn in Praise of Buddha. Your face shines in great splendor, boundless, wondrous dignity, such the greatness of your light, beyond all comparison. Brightness of the sun and moon, and the shining mani jewels, when compared to your brilliance, seem to us like blackest ink. Tathagata's countenance transcends all comparison. The great voice of awakening resounds through the 10 quarters. Your precepts, learning, effort, meditation, wisdom are virtues beyond all compare, ultimate, supreme, and rare. Your deep meditation has fathomed all the Dharma sea to the limits and the depths of all things the Buddhas teach. ignorance, anger, and greed. The world honored one has none, like a lion among men. Measureless your great virtue, vast are your great virtuous deeds. Wisdom deep and so sublime, your radiant luminous light shakes all the world's foundations. When I become a Buddha, equal to the Dharma King, I will transcend birth and death, liberating all beings. My giving discipline mind, precepts, patience, and effort, meditation and wisdom shall be supreme, unsurpassed. I will attain Buddhahood, everywhere fulfill my vow, bringing to all those in fear great peace and tranquility. Though there are myriad Buddhas, beyond measure, beyond count, and great sages numberless, like the grains of Ganges sands, I will honor each of them, equally accepting none. Even more importantly, I will seek the supreme way, even though all Buddha worlds are countless as Ganges sands, even though all lands and realms are boundless without measure, yet my light shall reach them all and illumine every place. Such shall be my perfect work, such my power infinite. When I attain Buddhahood, my land will be first and best, place of practice transcendent, its people sublime and rare, land equal to nirvana, beyond all comparison, with pity for everyone, I will carry all across, all who come from 10 quarters, to be born into my land, to attain pure joyful mind, peace and great tranquility. Be my witness, Buddha, please. Confirm my sincerity, now that I have strive to fulfill them. Buddhas of the 10 quarters, with your wisdom unhindered, may all of these honored ones know my deepest intention, even though my body must bear great pain and suffering. I will persevere and strive patiently without regret. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namandab, 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 namandabs, namandabs, namandabs,
If you are able to, please rise for the Gatha Ondok-san, gratefulness, which can be found on the handouts or on the screen. Betty is not here to lead us today, so please sing loud and proud as best you can. And just remember, Buddha accepts you just the way you are, even the tone deaf ones like me. So just sing loud.
indebted to teachers for their guidance true. We dedicate ourselves in gratefulness.
You may be seated.
Namanats, 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 namanats.
I am pleased to introduce our guest speaker this morning, Reverend Joshin Kamuro, Assistant Minister at Hompa Honganji Hilo Betsuin. Reverend Kamuro is from Aso, Kumamoto in southern Japan, where his family temple is located. I haven't heard of Aso before, so I had to look it up on Google. Aso is a Japanese city in Kumamoto Prefecture on the southern island of Kyushu. South of the city is Mount Aso, one of the world's largest volcanoes, whose 5 central peaks include the active Mount Nakadake volcano, which has erupted 38 times since 1950, the last in October 2021. So for Reverend Kamuro, the earthquakes and eruptions of Mauna Loa and Kilauea are nothing to him. And Reverend, is that why they assigned you to Hilo Betsuin, because the other ministers didn't want to come? His extensive educational background is as follows. In 2001, he graduated from Rukoku University in Kyoto with a bachelor's degree in Shin Buddhist studies. For the next 5 years, he lived in Dusseldorf, Germany, and worked at Echo House of Japanese Culture, a division of Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai, or the Society for the Promotion of Buddhism. Again, I had to look up Echo House of Japanese Culture in Dusseldorf. I didn't know this, but Dusseldorf is considered one of the largest Japanese communities in Europe, with over 8,000 Japanese who live and work there, maybe more by now. And the photos on their website is amazing. All these structures of Japanese architecture and Japanese gardens and ponds. I mean, you just feel like you're in the middle of Japan. He returned to Japan in 2007 and in 2014 completed the doctoral program in Shin Buddhist Studies at Ryukoku University. That same year, he participated in the International Ministerial Orientation Program in Berkeley, California. He received Gakkai Hokkyo, Nishi Honganji's rank of Shin Buddhist Studies, and a Fukyoshi, which he obtained after 100 days of training on how to convey the Jodo Shinshu teachings accurately. Reverend Kamuro came to Hawaii in October 2015. He worked at Hompa Honganji Hawaii Betsuin in Honolulu for about 4 years to November of 2019. He was assigned to Hompa Honganji Hilo Betsuin in November of 2019. He and his wife Minako have a 15-year-old son, Yuma, who attends Waikea High School. Is that a pretty good school, Reverend Blaine? I think, yeah. Please give a warm welcome to Reverend Joshin Kamuro and his family.
So, Mr. Darren Katayama, thank you for being the MC and kind introduction. And I'd like to share the screen. Could I share the screen? From March 29th to May 21st this year, the Honzan Honganji observed commemorative services of the joint celebration of the 850th anniversary of Shinran Shonin's birth and the 800th anniversary of the establishment of the Jodo Shinshu teaching. Therefore, first, let me share the slogan of the joint celebration. Please join me in 合唱. Sorry, I would like to. Life of Nembutsu enables us to appreciate every encounter. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Nammanda Butsu, Nammanda Butsu, Nammanda Butsu. Now I'd like, can you see my screen? A little bit takes a while. I need to go back one page. Yes. Yeah, this is a title of my Dharma message. Life of Nembutsu enables us to appreciate every encounter. Good morning, everyone, and aloha. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Reverend Brain Higa and all of you for inviting me to Konahonganji Gotan-E service today. Thank you very much for giving me this precious opportunity to celebrate Shinran Shonin's 850th birthday and share the significance of Shinran Shonin's appearance in this world with you. This is the second time for me to deliver my message at Konahonganji. I came here for the first time in January 2018. I was invited as a guest speaker for Konahonganji's Hoonko service, Shinran Shonin's Memorial Day. At that time, I was surprised that there were a lot of people whose roots were in Kumamoto, where I also grew up. Alan Matsumoto-san is here. His family from Kumamoto too. I really appreciated the opportunity to meet Konahonganji members and Sangha 6 years ago. Today, I am very glad to be here again at Konahonganji because this time I was able to be here with my wife Minako and our son Yuma. So I'd like to briefly introduce myself and my family Minako and our son Yuma. Minako and Yuma were born and grew up in Osaka, and I was raised in Aso, Kumamoto. My family and I came to Hawaii about 8 years ago. We were at Hawaii Betsu in Honolulu from 2015 to 2019. We were at Hawaii Betsu in Honolulu. It has been 4 years since we moved from Honolulu to Hilo in November 2019. My wife, Minako, likes Japanese calligraphy, and our son Yuma likes violin and basketball. And I like the Japanese martial art, karate, and golf that I started recently in Hilo. Hilo is a good place to play golf. Also, a lot of rains. We really enjoy our lives on the Big Island. This afternoon, my son Yuma's orchestra group called Orchid Isle Orchestra will perform a free concert at the East Hawaii Cultural Center at 4 p.m. Someone might have read the article about Orchid Isle Orchestra in the Friday Hawaii Tribune Herald. My wife and I were looking forward to Yuma's solo violin. After this service, my son will play the violin for you. Do you have any song requests for him? I don't know if he can play or not. If you have, please let him know. About 2 months ago, I went back to my family's hometowns, Kumamoto and Osaka. In addition, I visited the Honzan Honganji in Kyoto, like Reverend Brain. Just he went to Kyoto. I attended the 33rd year memorial service of my grandparents, who were the 11th resident minister and minister's wife at the Zenshoji Temple in Kumamoto. Please look at the picture on the screen. You can see my family picture in front of the Zenshoji Temple. 34 relatives came to the temple from all over Japan, from Hokkaido in the north to Kagoshima in the south. And there were 14 ministers out of 34 relatives. My sisters and brothers are ministers. My uncles and aunties are also ministers. My father told me that this is a last chance for him to hold a memorial service for his parents, who are my grandparents. Do you know why he said that? Because the next memorial service for his parents will be the 50th year memorial service, which is 17 years from now. My father is 82 years old now. Because of this, my parents invited all of our family members and relatives from all over Japan. I really appreciated the 33rd year memorial service, which was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. There is a Japanese saying, Ichigo Ichie, meeting only once in a lifetime. My wife wrote this calligraphy, Ichigo Ichie. During the service, my father shared some classical Chinese poems, which were written by my grandfather 47 years ago. I translated it into English and summarizes the contents as follows. My grandfather wrote 4 phrases of Chinese poem composed of 8 Chinese characters. We, who awaken to one thought moment of Shinjin, receive the benefit of our afflicting passions transformed into virtues. We are an interplay of sincere remorse and gratitude. Although we continue to live in a world of birth and death, we feel comfortable like a fresh breeze blowing. Let me read it again. We, who awaken to one thought moment of Shinjin, receive the benefit of our afflicting passions transformed into virtues. We are an interplay of sincere remorse and gratitude. Although we continue to live in a world of birth and death, we feel comfortable like a fresh breeze blowing. This poem explains when we take refuge in the Buddha of boundless life and light and realize entrusting heart, Shinjin, we receive the benefit of spiritual transformation. We feel comfortable like a fresh and gentle breeze blowing. Although we continue to live in this world of pain and ignorance. This was the first time for me to read my grandfather's words through his classical Chinese poems. I had never read his writings nor spoken with him in my life, although I lived with him in the same house at the temple for 13 years. Do you know why? Because my grandfather wasn't able to talk. since he had a stroke in his early 60s. The Zenshoji Temple in Kumamoto suffered a fire in the 1940s. So my grandparents had to rebuild the temple, and at the same time, they raised 5 children. Because my grandfather strained himself by overwork, he got a stroke in the end. After that, he was bedridden for over 10 years and suffered from speech disorder. This is why I don't have any memories of talking with him. But now, he will be alive in my life. I thought that I really encountered my grandfather at this time, because I got to know that my grandfather appreciated the Jodo Shinshu Buddhism deeply. My grandfather shares his experience of Shinjin, that his complaining mind turned into gratitude. It was a very precious opportunity for me to discover my grandfather by reading his Chinese classical poems and by talking stories with my uncles and aunties. Life of Nembutsu enables us to appreciate every encounter. So, next slide. Please look at the picture on the screen. You can see my father in the middle of the picture with his brothers and sisters. My 5 children my grandparents had. In front of the statue of Shinran Shonin under the full-bloomed cherry tree, Sakura. It was a precious opportunity for my family because it only happened once. It will never occur again with the same group. 2 weeks ago, I was very shocked to hear that one of my uncles, who is holding a portrait of my grandmother, suddenly was born in the Pure Land at the age of 72. My uncle just turned 72 years old on May 2nd. Coincidentally, it was the same age of my grandmother, who passed away 32 years ago. Her age was also 72. My uncle worked at the temple as a minister until the day before his death, although he had lost his appetite recently and had been weakened. His funeral service was held at the Zenshoji Temple in Kumamoto on May 9th. My family and I were able to watch and attend the funeral through the live streaming, and we reflected on my uncle's life and recited the Nembutsu of gratitude for his life. We live an impermanent life. Though in the morning we may have radiant health, in the evening we may return to ashes. Therefore, we should treasure every meeting or service as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let us together live the Nembutsu in our hearts. Today's Gotan-E service at Konahonganji is also a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, my family, and everyone here. Reverend Bruce Nakamura, who was a retired minister of the Honpa Honganji Mission of Hawaii, gave me the New Year's card at the beginning of this year. It says, Ichigo Ichie, treasure every meeting, for it only happens once. Reverend Bruce will be a speaker for Hirobetsu in Gotan-E service next Sunday on May 28th. There is a Jodo Shinshu saying, while I worry about the deceased person worries about me. While I worry about the deceased person worries about me. Like the sun, those dear to us who have been born in the Pure Land reach us here and now as warmth and light while still in the Pure Land. Now I'd like to introduce you a song titled A Thousand Winds, Sen no Kaze. I made a copy for you. Minako will give you a copy. Do you know this song, Sen no Kaze? Manami-san's mother knows that, know this song. So my son will play this song after this service, violin. But this is a really good poem. I'd like to introduce it to you. Some years ago, a song became popular in Japan called Into a Thousand Winds. The song originated in the United States, where it is called Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep. Reverend Kenshin Nishiwaki created a new version of the song in the form of a Buddhist poem. So let me share the song with you. The title is A Thousand Winds, Sen no Kaze. Do not cry before my grave. I am not in eternal sleep. No, I am a thousand winds circling the world. I am in the diamond shining in the snow, the seed of light in the dark, the gentle fall rains. Open the window every morning when you wake, and I am swirling all around on the tips of the winds. I am the sharp light of the stars at night. I am all around you when you feel small. Call out, Namo Amida Butsu, when you want to see me. I am always at your side. So do not cry before my grave. I am not in eternal sleep. I am always at your side. This song message, which says, the deceased person is not lying in the grave, but sometime in the wind, sometimes a light or snow, or even stars, is therefore always near. The deceased person who was born in the Pure Land appears in various forms and reaches us here and now as warmth and light. Sometimes we turn our backs to this light. Still, it is always embracing us, just like Amida Buddha is. In Amida's embrace, we are able to walk the path of the Nembutsu, which leads to the other shore, guided by those who were born there before us. I will call out Namo Amida Butsu when I want to see my grandparents, Soe Oji-chan, Mitsuko Oba-chan, my uncle Kosho Oji-chan, and our founder Shinran Shonin. They are always at my side. Namo Amida Butsu, reminds me of the compassionate heart of Amida that embraces us all of us gently, like a fresh breeze blowing. Please join me in Gassho. Let us recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu together. Let us remember that we can still connect with our departed loved ones and joyfully meet them again by reciting the Nembutsu. Life of Nembutsu enables us to appreciate every encounter. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Thank you very much for your message, Reverend Kamuro. That was a really nice lyrics in that sheet. I've never heard it before or seen it, but that is really a beautiful song. Or oh, you have it. Okay, doesn't matter. Anytime if you have, is it? Okay, we can do after. Okay. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, Reverend Blaine will now read a selection from the Kobunsho, which is a collection of letters written by Renyo Shonin, the 8th spiritual leader of Honganji. The selection is Shonin Ichiryu no Sho.
Shonin ichiru no gokange no omomuki wa shinjin no motte honto serare soro. Sono yue wa moro moro no zogyo o nagesutete isshin ni mida ni kimyo sureba. Fugashigi no ganriki to shite Buten no kata yori ojo wa jijo seshimeta mo. そのくらいを一年勃起入賞上始終とも釈しその上の称名念仏如来我が往生を定めたまいしご恩法人の念仏と心べきなりあなかしこあなかしこ The tradition of Shinran Shonin. What is taught in the tradition of Shinran Shonin is that the entrusting heart is essential. For when we abandon various practices and take refuge in Amida with singleness of heart, our birth in the Pure Land is settled by the Buddha through the inconceivable vow power. The state we thus attain is described as, with awakening of a single thought of entrusting, we join those who are in the stage of the truly settled. Recitation of the Nembutsu thereafter should be understood to be the Nembutsu as an expression of gratitude for the Tathagata's benevolence for our settling our birth in the Pure Land. Humbly and respectfully. Namandabts, 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 namandabts.
I will now lead us in the unison reading of the Creed. Words can be found on page 4 of the Red Joshin Service Book and also on the screens above. So again, page 4 of the Red Service Book. Okay, so if we can all read together. We rely upon Amida Tathagata with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our limited self. We believe that the assurance of birth comes at the very moment we entrust, and we call the name Namo Amida Butsu in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and the succeeding masters who have led us to believe in this profound teaching. And we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Namo Amida Butsu. We'll now have the offertory presentation. Mahalo to everyone for your generosity. If you are able to, please rise as we will conclude this Gotan-E service with the singing of the Gatha Nembutsu.
Namanda, Vutsunamanda, 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 Vutsunamanda.
You may be seated. Hey, before the announcements coming up, do we, Yuma, would you please give us your performance on the violin? This is amazing because the violin is one of the hardest instruments to play. Wow, wow, that was terrific. Reverend 2, thank you for singing. Didn't realize this was going to be with you singing. Oh, yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be good. We'll put out the tip jar. Very awesome. Awesome. That was terrific. Um, moving on to some announcements. Regular Dharma family services will be held on the next two Sundays, May 28th and June 4th at 10 a.m. Reverend Blaine will share Dharma messages. Sunday, June 11th, we will observe military remembrance service to honor those in the Kona community who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. The service will be sponsored by Boy Scouts Troop 59. Father's Day service will be held on June 18th at 10 a.m. Some reminders. Be sure to open, read, and click on attachments and interesting links that were included in Reverend Blaine's weekly Friday update email. Please complete and return the 2023 Temple membership update forms as soon as possible. Mahalo for that, for those who have done it. Free COVID tests with extended expiration dates till October of 2023 are still available at the temple. Additional COVID-19 bivalent booster shots are now available to seniors and anyone with at-risk health conditions. Are there any other announcements, Reverend Blake?
Reverend Kamuro, for joining us today and sharing the Dharma with us, and to Minako and Yuma for joining us as well, and for Yuma for that amazing performance. Best wishes for this afternoon on your solo. So, again, big mahalo to everybody for being here. It really takes a village to keep the temple running and keep it going. Thank you very much to Alan and Darren and Lynn and Stephen, I believe, right? Who did the omigaki this week, the cleaning of the altar ornaments. Thank you. They look amazing. And thank you for helping to put up the altar cloths as well. Also, thank you to Morris Nagata for the osanai, the fruits and the flowers. And thank you to Joni Fujino for doing the altar arrangements for us. So again, thank you very much, everybody. It's good to be back. I'll share more about my adventures in Japan next week in my Dharma message. So again, mahalo.
Any other announcements? Well, one thing, it's not an announcement, but if you notice, there's a new camera up above the organ. So we now have another camera to help on Zoom and for funerals. So that camera can swivel around this way. And it's more to show you guys. So please behave during service. just
you can't hide anymore.
Yes. Again, thank you very much to Reverend Joshin Kamuro and his family. Those of you on Zoom, when you're ready to leave, just tap or click on the Leave Meeting button on your screen. Those of you here in person, refreshments will be served in the social hall. We'll get that set up real shortly. Mahalo to Lynn Katayama and Lisa Siriaco for providing the scrumptious goodies for today's refreshments. I had a few sampling, so I can vouch for that. Thank you for joining us. Get that additional booster COVID shot if you can, and hope to see you at our future services. Thank you for coming again.